Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from Resident Source 964. Am I the beehole for telling my bio relatives to stop acting like we're family on social media? I'm a 20-year-old female, the youngest of three. Background: our bio parents were together, but our bio maternal side hated my bio father. Bio mother ended up pregnant at 18 and she knew her family would dislike it, and maybe not support her because of bio father. She also knew her friends wouldn't support her, so she turned to my dad, who had a crush on her for so long. They slept together and she passed my sister off as his. My dad was a solid guy, and my bio mother knew that. She married dad and passed my sister off as his and carried on seeing biofather behind everyone's back. Wow, okay. She had my brother and then me with biofather, and dad raised us all believing we were his bio kids. Dad was our only real parent from day one. Our bio mother was never really there for us, and even when she was present, we always felt like she didn't want us there. I was 7 when the truth came out. It devastated dad, but also my siblings and me. Our bio mother decided she wanted us to live with her and bio father. My dad was legally our dad though, and they are married, so shite got messy. Our bios wanted our dad to pay child support and pay medical and educational stuff, but never see us, so dad continues paying, and bio father gets the credit of being a dad. When he realized he'd be on the hook for all of this stuff, he ran screaming, kinda literally. He and Biomother stayed together, but he wanted no part of the actual responsibility for us. Biomother ended up giving up the fight and gave us to Dad, and dipped from our lives forever. Dad got us therapy. He tried to facilitate relationships with our two bio families, but both wanted to take us from him, and they would constantly try to undermining him to us. It made us angry, especially coming from Biofather's side, because they acted like their son did something other than get our mom knocked up 3 times. They would say we had a real father somewhere, or that, as our real blood family, we should be with them and not some random guy. So dad moved us, so we could have a fresh start away from all the shite and painful memories. Several months ago, a paternal bio cousin tracked us down and said the bio family wanted us to return to them. What is this ancient text stuff? And they wanted a relationship. We all explained we had not forgotten the past, so we were not interested. A couple months later, my brother got another message, and they wanted us to come to bio grandparents' anniversary party, and our answer was no. After Christmas, then we found out they were posting on social media accounts that they missed us and how close we used to be, saying family should not be separated like this, and laying the blame on dad. They even photoshopped some photos to make it look like Biofather was present when they saw us post-reveal. Oh my god, really? How cringy is that, trying to Photoshop him in? I got so angry that I commented on their posts to stop pretending we're a family, and they tried to undermine my dad, who was the one parent we had, and should be ashamed of themselves. They came for me, dragging them on social media. Am I the beehole? Okay, first of all, you are not the beehole. You did not drag them, you just set the record straight and told the truth. Ah, ghouls, narcissistic ghouls, I don't even know what that is, man. Acting like they want you. And I love, okay, so both families are terrible people. One acting like the son did something, he was not there for you. Acting like their daughter is anything because she abandoned you guys, and she is, well, she's a hoe. She's over there cheating on the dude and having other babies and then tricking the dude, baby trapping the poor dude into raising some other man's child. Like that, that's evil, man. That needs to be against the law or something like that. I will say this: your father, your real father, the one who doesn't share the same blood as you, but he is your real father, is a freaking saint, man. He went above and beyond to give you kids a good life and treat you like a father. I don't know if I could be that strong, man. Like, oh man, I don't even know how you guys feel having your whole world rocked like that. And then these ghouls want to be like, oh, we're family. Family should be together. Come back to the family. That's not family. They raised those two families raised those two idiot ghouls. Again, OP, you are not the beehole. Go no contact. Make sure to never let those ghouls into your life. And if you see stuff like that, set it right, because they don't get to sit there and act like they're good people, because they're not. Again, not the beehole. And our next one comes from Lowshine9205. Am I the beehole for not letting my sister come stay with me? My sister, a 19-year-old female, and I, a 21-year-old female, don't have the greatest relationship ever. I find my sister entitled, spoiled, and selfish, and she finds me selfish and unforgiving. We've always had a very tense relationship. Our parents started it by babying her as the youngest and treating us very differently, while also expecting us to be best friends forever and to do everything and to share everything. My sister has no regard for me at all. A few times when we were teens, the heating went out at our parents' house, and I was lucky to have the warmer room outside of my parents'. My sister expected me to swap rooms with her so she could be warm and I would sleep in the cold. When I told her she could sleep in my room with me if she wanted to, she told me I should just give her my bed and go to hers. Another time I was sick, it was the flu, and home from school for 2 weeks. My parents were at a wedding one Saturday and told her to get me to drive her to a friend's house for a concert they were attending. I told her I couldn't bring her because, sick as F on the couch and barely able to keep my eyes open. She pestered me for the best part of 2 hours and yelled at me for messing with her life and said I was so selfish for not making her plans a priority. There was other petty stuff from our childhood, like how angry she'd get that she couldn't steal my makeup since mine didn't work for her skin, or somehow she'd be mad that I brought a lock from my closet so she couldn't take my clothes without asking me. I moved out and into my own apartment for college with 2 friends, and my family came to visit. My sister decided she was inviting herself for extended stay and wanted me to sleep in one of my friends' rooms or something. Since she decided she could stay, I refused to let her stay, and she told me I was being a bee, and I told her she could say goodbye to ever staying with me. My parents told me I could have let her stay. It's a college. What? No, you got roommates. And I told them they could leave, and not so gently encouraged that. My sister went to college in a different state, was in a dorm for her freshman year, but now she's a sophomore, and was living with some people she met in her college. But they want her out and refuse to let her stay there anymore. I wonder why. My sister didn't take it seriously until she was forced to leave. With her last few dollars, she decided to take a bus and show up at my apartment, saying she was staying with me for a while because she was homeless and I needed to give her my room. She actually used the words, "You can take the couch for a few weeks." I refused to let her come in, and I refused to let her stay. She freaked out about having no more money and nowhere else to go. I told her it wasn't my problem. She cursed me out over DMs and told me I was the worst sister, and I'm so selfish for turning her away again. She also accused me of being unforgiving. If this is about the last time I wanted to stay. My parents also started, so I blocked them. Am I the beehole? Okay, OP, you are not the beehole, and that sucks you had to deal with. Well, your parents and your sister, I'd call them the beeholes, because, yeah, I'm gonna blame the sister too, because she's old enough to know to not act like this. And you think it opened her eyes, because she's kind of at rock bottom, right? Homeless, no money. The people who she thought she was her friends made sure to kick her out, because they kicked her out because of how she acted. I doubt she changed her ways with other people and not, her sister. And then, while she's at rock bottom and needs a favor and is in, dire need, maybe not even dire need, because it seems, why doesn't she just go back to her parents? Like, they obviously love her and, want her to be with them if they raised her that way. But I'm just saying, okay, so she's in a bad spot and she has the audacity, the cojones, to come up to you and say, hey, give me your room in your apartment. You could sleep in the living room. I'm taking it for a couple weeks. You better be okay with it. Like, holy hell, how selfish and entitled is she? I really would love to hear her roommates, the people she was living with. I want to hear how she treated them. Do you think she went into her room and like took their clothes and messed with their stuff? I bet you she did. She seems like, she thinks she's entitled to everything. And then when you rightfully tell her no, because who in their right mind would agree to those terms that, she's trying to issue to you, she wants to get mad at you. Again, go back to mommy and daddy. They obviously want you. Any normal person in this situation would come up to you and be like, hey, sis, I'm in a bad spot, tell you the story and be like, can I please take the couch? I will take the floor. It doesn't matter. I just want a roof over my head. She still hasn't learned. She needs to go lower. She needs to hit an even deeper rock bottom. But it seems like that's been her for years, so I don't think she'll ever change. OP, not the beehole, and make sure not to let that evil in your house. And our final one comes from Imaginary Form 9887. Am I the beehole for telling my daughter she has to understand that choosing this wedding date would result in my family not going? 2 years-ish ago, my brother, my nephew, and my mother were in a car accident. My mother died instantly. My brother and my nephew passed away the next day. My family was small. Me, my husband, daughter, parents, brother, wife, and 2 nephews. Their loss was devastating for my life and for everyone, even worse for my father and my sister-in-law. 1 year ago, my daughter, Betty, 25-year-old female, was proposed to by her fiancé, and preparations began. During the process, they chose the date based on the day they met, added 7 years ago, and the day is exactly 2 years since the death of my brother and nephew. I tried to talk to her about moving, because it's still a very difficult date for our family, and even for myself. But she insisted, saying that the venue had the date available, and it'd be perfect because all the available dates aren't so good, and wouldn't be so important. I respected her decision. Recently, she sent the invitations to everyone, and as I predicted, my sister-in-law, my nephew, 24-year-old male, and my father responded that they would not attend, despite not telling her. My father and sister-in-law told me that the date choice sounded like an offense to them. I decided to remain neutral. At some point, I confirmed my presence and my husband's. Today, my daughter called me unhappily that no one but us confirmed. My husband doesn't have any family on his side, and her family part was empty because she expected everyone to go on that date, even more so after she explained the reason to them about the date, but they still refused. I tried to be supportive, but I said, "Love, the date is difficult even for me, but I will go to your wedding. But you have to understand that this choice of date has this consequence. You knew you would have to deal with the consequences of your choices." She exploded at me, saying that everyone was against her. It is not her fault the dates coincided, and everyone can make an effort to go a few hours for her, but they decided to just not go, and I was basically saying, "I told you so." She hung up without me answering, and we still haven't spoken. My husband said he understands me, but I should have stayed away from it. Am I the beehole? I'm gonna say no, you're not the beehole, and I don't get where your husband said you should stay away from it. You did. You tried to remain neutral, and she got to the point where she was basically going, "What's wrong? What did I do wrong?" You told her what was wrong. She knew what that day meant. Everybody told her what. She knew what would happen. There are obviously other dates to choose. She could have chosen another date. But she did that on purpose because she knows that date's special to people. Because she knows. She knows. OP, if I were you, I wouldn't go to that wedding, especially after the way she treated you and hung up on you and stopped talking to you like that. Don't go. You're not the beehole. She's the beehole. She knew what that date was and what it meant to people, but she still did it anyways. Again, not the beehole. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.